still engage with customers that you've never met before if you have the right value, if you have the right solution to a pain they might have. So how do you do that? Well, one, if you're going to use email, you have to keep messages short. I mean, most of us are using mobile devices as 50 to 75% of how we view our email messages. And on my BlackBerry, I just am not going to read a long email. I'm not going to. I'm going to mark it as read because I've looked at it, and then it's just not going to go any further, right? So just know the stats. Every second, 2.8 emails are sent. So that's a lot of emails. The average executive gets 381.6. I don't know where those numbers come from, but pitches per month. So if you round that out for business days being in the office, I mean, they're getting a lot of pitches. The average time an executive spends looking at a message and deciding if they're going to act on it is only 15 to 20 seconds, the stats tell us. So all these facts tell us they're getting inundated with messages, that they're spending very little time looking at messages, and that there's so many legitimate pitches coming at them that there's almost a sense of hysteria, like, what do I do? There's one more stat that's relevant to this discussion, is that the number one reason why 6 out of 10 people will unsubscribe from a newsletter, right, that they signed up for, boring content. So when I add all these things together, I'm kind of like doing my own math marketing equation here. It's how do you get someone to respond back to you? One, keep your email short, 4 to 5 sentences. Don't expect that they're going to read the first one. In fact, plan that they're not. So create a conversation thread. So send one email, 4 to 5 sentences, reply back to that person again with the email below it, let's say 8 days later, and then do it again 8 days later. At the end of 3 messages, you'll have covered them 24 days in length, right? And you'll have delivered a message that continues a conversation. And so a customer is more likely to respond back to you. In fact, having worked with companies on doing this very thing, I mean, we've seen as much as an 800% increase in people responding to messages just by, one, keeping it plain text, not having a lot of HTML. I know that a lot of startup companies and mid-sized companies they want to show off their internal graphic design people. And for people, once again, looking at a mobile device, they see a bunch of boxes with question marks inside of them where an image should have been. And you're just looking at a message going, what do I do with this? What am I missing, right? And so leave that stuff out. Save it for your website. In your email signature, do things like have one phone number, one hyperlink. I know you're on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other places and you want everyone to connect with you, but really, the first time someone meets with you, are they really going to connect with you in all those places? Right? So we've kind of confused this by like throwing so much at people that it's hard to digest. So short emails, a conversation, and you know what? Don't be afraid to mix it up. We're very timid sometimes. Oh, I could never say that. When some of the people we're talking to are bold and edgy themselves, so it's okay to be bold and edgy with those people. At least you're not boring. So you won't be one of the 6 out of the 10, right, that unsubscribes from you or stops listening to you because you're boring. So there are ways to make contact with people. And remember, we're training people as we email them. So as you email them 3 times, a nice suggestion is also this. Don't put questions at the beginning of your email, right? Because what do we act on? We act on what's last. So a lot of this is just like, you know, we want to throw out all this stuff to somebody and we expect them to drop everything they're doing and run to us like we're the Virgin Mary, right? To solve all their problems. And it's kind of like we've kind of just lost track of what consumers want, what buyers want. And for companies who want to reach out to brand new people, it is kind of a formula. You know, don't be afraid to be bold, keep things short, continue the conversation, and you'll find that people start responding back to you, and you're actually training them that when they see an email from you, maybe a 4th email or a 5th email, that they open your email and read it because, you know, that guy was funny last time.